After the ball is over, after the skein is done, after the die lot's finished, and you are short just one, many a knitter has made a tearful and desperate call, pleading with their local yarn shop, go after that ball.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 468. Today is Saturday, August 28, 2021, as we are recording. And actually, it's not episode 468, it's 469. Okay? We want to welcome all new and returning viewers to the Fun in the Woman Cave. I am Marlisha, also known as Lady Fernico.
And I'm Talia, also known as Franciscan Gypsy.
If you are new, we're glad that you found us, and we hope you see something that you enjoy so that you will keep returning. And if you are returning, we're always glad to have you back with us. If you are new or returning and in the shadows, please feel free to join us officially. Just press the little subscribe button, red button on your right. Hit the little bell for notifications so you know when we're posting our podcast. And if you want to take part in the alongs, giveaways, that kind of stuff, the camaraderie, all that stuff happens at our PHN home. And that's phnpodcast.freeforums.net. That's phnpodcast.freeforums.net, and that's in the little description box below the video. And I think it's also on that banner, the little banner.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, welcome. We're glad to have you here.
Indeed.
You are first.
Yes, I am. I was just I'll put this down once I start working on it. Okay. So, my tea today is Plum Deluxe tea, creme brulee, gray black tea. Gray black, okay.
As an Earl Grey, probably.
Yes, it just amuses me because it's like, is it gray or is it black? Which is it?
Make up your mind.
And I can't wait to get my hair.
I know, mine is bugging me too.
Treat yourself like you're royalty. Black tea, orange peel, jasmine flowers, blue cornflower, bergamot oil, vanilla extract, love and gratitude, has caffeine.
I think I gave you mine when I had it.
You did.
Mm-hmm. We were just discussing this. I'm not a big fan of black tea.
Whereas I tend to gravitate towards black tea. Although I do like some herbals.
We did say that on the podcast, didn't we?
Oh, we've said that multiple times.
No, I mean today. Were we talking?
No, that was prior to the podcast.
Okay.
Before you hit go. I think this is too strong for you.
Oh, yeah?
You can take a taste, but I don't think you'll like it.
Yeah, probably won't.
I probably could have steeped 1 minute less.
Oh, okay.
I probably shouldn't have done it for the full 6. I can drink it, but I don't think you'll like it.
It's okay. Yeah.
And I have a Sweet Amsterdam stroopwafel. This is the caramel one.
I didn't expect you to finish so quick. Mm-hmm. This is also stroop. This is a lemon one. Okay.
You call it lemon bar.
Lemon bar. This is what my daughter's head looks like, mug. And it's an oboe for you newcomers. Okay. Yeah. It's a story. All right. I have in here my Plum Deluxe chocolate rosemary caramel herbal tea. This has honeybush tea, Rubio's tea, cocoa nibs, rosemary, vanilla chocolate essence, love, gratitude, no caffeine. I could have used caffeine today, but that's okay.
That's what black tea is good for.
So are some of the other teas. I like the black tea that's in our chocolate mint, and I like the Earl Grey that Stephanie got us hooked on.
Yes. Well, I had that for breakfast most mornings, as I was saying earlier.
Here, you can taste this.
Okay. There you go.
You didn't have any problems with this before, right?
Which one is that?
It's the chocolate rosemary caramel herbal tea.
No, I don't think I had any issues with that
Honeybush tea, Rubio's
and
tea.
And a little bit of it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
I would think. I don't think I've ever had this one.
I've had it before, so I'm sure you've tasted it.
It's good. I don't consistently have issues with tea for people who are on board. We're actually not even convinced that the one time I had some breathing issues on the podcast.
I'm just a little gun shy because of what happened that one time.
Yeah. We still don't know what set me off.
Right. And we will be doing the parks again.
Yes,
sometime.
I was thinking about that today, and I was thinking also another reason why we need to get through them is we have tea and tales next year, and there are literary teas.
Yep, and there are all kinds of teas. I also have a tea shop.
Sorry.
Quasi-local. It's actually in Percival, so it's a good piece away, but not so far that we can't go out for dinner and come back. So,
right.
And they send me stuff about tea, so I'm looking forward to maybe imparting some of that to you all for Tea and Tales. All right, so moving along, let's look at our alongs. Let's see here. All right, we have the PHN Christmas All Year Long Cal Lal, and as it says here, this is all year, okay? So it started January 1st, 2021, and runs through midnight, December 31st, 2021. That means if it's January 1st of 2022, it's finished. However, as we have mentioned, if you see that the thread is still open, then you can post, okay? That's just, it's up to us to close the thread, okay?
Yeah, it's not your responsibility.
So projects must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted. And previous whips are allowed, but must be worked on during the along. Chatter and pictures are all on the same thread. One whip, that's a work in progress for you newcomers, per project per week. The FO whenever it's completed, okay? And the FO is a finished object. And prizes will be announced. We do have prizes. I've announced them several times. I did clarify this last time. I don't tend to call half-finished objects HOs. I tend to call them PhDs, which is a project half done. Those are considered whips and not FOs unless you're doing a shop sample or something like that.
And you're only planning on making one.
And you're only planning on making one, in which case that is a finished object. Okay. Yeah. Now, any FO, okay, these are featured patterns and featured designs, featured yarns. This is pretty much the same across the board. We might add something, but we never usually subtract. So any FOs in Franciscan Gypsies designs, patterns, Lady Fritical Creations yarn, or my shawl pattern, or Lollipop Girl yarns or Laura Concert designs patterns, that's the same person, will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize. Those are the featured patterns.
Okay, I just want to make sure when you're done with the sentence, I have something I wanted to ask.
Oh, featured patterns and featured yarns. If you had the featured pattern and yarn together for the FO, that's 3 chances at a prize for the FO only. You are responsible for multiple postings. What do you want to say?
So, something like Kay has something for the certain levels of patrons where it's basically a sock bunting. They aren't attached, but they're different designs of different kinds of socks you can hang next to each other and stick things in or whatever. Would those count individually, or would those count as a full project?
If you're intending to make a bunting, it's like a square.
Mm-hmm. Now, what if it's just hanging next to each other, like the way she has it on a cork board?
It would be to have 2 or 3 more, because it has to be, if it's 50 yards or less, it has to have another thing that's 50 yards or less.
But if they're hanging connected to each other like on a string, that would be one project.
That's one project.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's like a blanket or something. Mm-hmm. That's a good question. Okay. All right. Hashtag PHN Christmas all year long, all year 2021. PHN Christmas all year 2021 on Instagram. As I said, if an FO uses 50 yards or less, please post it with another FO of 50 yards or more. Along with our featured yarns and patterns, this along has additional featured things. One is the Operation Christmas Child, or any project going to a Christmas donation is eligible for 2 chances to prize. I beg your pardon. Let me have a drink of tea. Is eligible toward for 2 chances at a prize for the FO. Also, the Pregnancy Center here, okay, at Christmas time. And projects that are made predominantly in the Christmas colors, our choice of Christmas colors, mm-hmm. Okay. Shades of red, blue, green, silver, gold, purple, and pink, along with white, of course, or cream if you have a bare yarn, will be eligible for 2 chances at a prize for the FO only, okay? And, as we said, to get the third post, the third chance at a prize, you have to have 2 things together, okay?
And if you get confused about the color requirements, it's in the description box in the thread where you would have to post to win the prizes.
On PHN, yeah. You can't take part in the along unless you are part of the home group, okay? Because YouTube's not really that great for posting that kind of thing.
No, I mean, they have a community tab, but doesn't really seem to have a place for pictures.
Yeah.
And then it'd be another place to juggle.
Yeah, we just do it over there. Okay, the prizes for this quarter, we have 2 skeins of Knit Pig Bravo worsted in a really pretty avocado green kind of color. That's one prize. And the other one is a skein of what I'm calling, I think it's a sock weight yarn, Death by Pumpkin Spice, and a little blue bag. So, now, the other along... Sorry, guys. Okay. The other along is our Cardiac Dysautonomia Cal 2021. Okay, that's PHNCDA 2021 on Instagram. That's a hashtag, of course. We started July 1st, and it ends at the end of September. So we're going to have one more month before this one ends. WIPs and FOs will both be eligible to be drawn for prizes. Projects can be knitted. Okay, this is the same, okay? All the basic rules are the same, except the hashtag is hashtag PHNCDA 2021 on Instagram, and the colors must be shades of red, pink, blue, or teal, because those are the colors involved with not the motto, the logos.
Right.
Okay? And normally...
Well, they also have colors that tend to be associated with them. That's what their ribbon is or whatever.
Right, that's what I meant, the ribbon. And so, if... Teal is kind of a funny color. It's like turquoise and some of those other colors. If you have a ball band and it says teal and it's more green, we will accept it. But in that case, you have to post the ball band showing that it says teal, because it's blues, teals, reds, and pinks, not greens. So if it's a green teal, you need to show the ball band, and we will accept it, okay? Okay, the same featured projects and featured patterns as mentioned before. Yeah, okay. You're always responsible for your own multiple postings for that. Again, this is all in the group, okay? Now, Tortoise versus Hare 2021. This is Laura Concert's baby. She's crocheting Hoovian, and her podcast is of the same name. I'm not sure she's podcasting regularly at the moment, but that may, just keep an eye on her.
Yeah, you never know. Life happens.
Where you post for her, Facebook. We have in our thread. It's a Laura. Is it Laura Concert or Crocheting Hoovian?
I think it says Crocheting Hoovian.
Okay, either one. It's Crocheting Hoovian most likely. There's a thread that tells you where to post.
And the thread is in our forums. It's not on YouTube.
Right. Okay. Because she's very, very available and approachable. If you want to take part in it and you're not on Ravelry, she makes it possible for you to do so. She's very accessible. Okay. She asked us to be co-host for this again, and we're really excited about it. And this is, I'm going to do the rules for her as I have them, because this is her along, okay? Mm-hmm. For us, for this along, you have to be a member of Crocheting Hoovian and PHN podcast groups if you're going to be doing both groups. Projects must be worked on between July 1st and September 1st, but they may be started before that time period, okay, as long as they're worked on during the along. And they don't have to be finished, all right? Projects must be knit, loom knit, or crocheted for our group. I don't know if she's still accepting all kinds of crafts, okay?
Right, 'cause for a while she was.
For a while she was, during the pandemic especially. Mm-hmm. It must be tortoise versus and or hare related, okay? When it started out, it was Talia's Toys, but now it's Talia's Toys and are featured, and I'll get to that in a second. It has to be tortoise or hare related in some way.
Yeah, whatever it happened.
Okay? The hashtag is hashtag Tortoise versus Hare 2021 on Instagram. The featured patterns are any tortoise or hare patterns that are created by Talia or Crocheting Hoovian, who's Laura, or mine. Okay, I have a shawl, but it's not tortoise versus hare related. But if you use a tortoise versus hare yarn, tortoise or hare yarn, then you can use that as well. If you use a featured yarn and a featured pattern, it's 3 chance at a prize for finished object, okay? And again, this is all in the group, okay? Any turtle or rabbit themed patterns or yarns or projects will count toward this Cal Lal. All it has to do is meet the criterion, okay? So that's it. that's it for that. And you have 10, so
Alrighty,
I
let
can
me
finish my
finish
scoop.
this last stitch on the needle. There we go.
And for those of you who are new, the upcoming year-long is going to be Tea and Tales.
Yes. Okay, let me grab my show notes. Alrighty. It's just today design is going to flop right in my face in the most annoying way it possibly can. Okay, 469. It's being persnickety. Hold a sec. There we go. Alright, it's loading, loading, loading.
It's thinking.
I'm going to take a sip of tea while it's thinking. Well, actually, you know what? I usually have at least to be able to show my Christmas stocking, so.
You have to do 2 anyway, so I think you almost have to do two almost every time.
I
So
have
6.
2 that I don't do, 2 times that I go single.
Okay.
Okay, so in my, so that means I would go, let's see, I guess when I have 2 bags left, I know I go single. Okay, so, well, I don't know why my show notes are being so persnickety. I might just have to pull from my written notes that I have, even though they're not any particular. There we go. Okay. In my Silvershed USA Peanuts Christmas bag is the Damina Christmas stocking pattern. I was really hoping to show it to you all this time, but I'm not quite done with the heel. The toe is done. I have to finish the heel and then finish the loop for hanging it, weaving all the ends.
Is that going to be like an I-cord or something, or can you say?
I don't discuss pattern details on the,
Right.
even though everyone could figure it out, but
Except for me, apparently.
but yeah, so I will be I will be posting it as available for testing first to the patrons and then later to everyone else in the group. I'm hoping to be able to do that this week because I'm really close to done.
Excellent.
If I hadn't been so distractible, it might have been done. But it actually kind of works out a little bit better because then it means I'm not showing it first on the podcast. It gives the patrons a real
Right.
chance to be first. Okay, so
So we don't have anything Patreon next week. Because we have to wait till the following week, don't we?
I don't have to show it live to be. I usually make its own post.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So in my Crafty Clegs bunnies bag that Emma gave me.
Hi, Emma.
Hi, Emma. Is my crunkled owl socks. I'm saying is because there's only one at this point. It's a crunkled owl sock, or it's the crinkled socks, not owls. Crunkled socks pattern by K.F. Jones, of Baker Bears fame, and I'm using West Structure spinners in the owl colorway. Turned the heel, just have to keep going for the foot for a while, and then I can go ahead and start the second sock.
Yeah.
I'm sort of making a shift toward knitted socks simply because I tend to get tightness along the top of my foot with normal socks, with handmade socks, and also they don't seem to have enough cushioning while being airy enough normal socks. If they have enough cushioning that my neuropathy is not bothered, my feet overheat.
Right.
If they're thin enough so my feet might not overheat, then I have issues with the neuropathy.
Right.
For whatever reason, knit socks seems to kind of be a good balance. I guess because the yarn itself tends to be a little bit
Bouncy?
bouncier, yeah, or
Wow.
something. And I've finally gotten to the point where I appreciate the idea of socks with lace on it because it can help when my feet are overheating, but I still want something on my
I
feet.
feel like deja vu all over again. Like I've heard this before because I heard it yesterday.
You did, but I don't think I said it. Oh, I ended up having that conversation, making it a part of it, even though no one was there when we had it.
Was it just us or was it Brittany there?
It was just us. Brittany arrived like a little bit after.
Right.
But yeah, so
Brittany wasn't first. Pat was first.
well, Pat arrived a little bit after.
Yeah.
But you will probably start seeing something I never thought I would end up doing, which is some lace socks with some lace on it popping up, just because I tend to have some problem with overheating and I want options. And eventually what will happen is I'll probably put my store-bought socks in a bag somewhere so I have more space for the knit socks in the drawers. And then I can always get to the store-bought socks if I want them, but I don't have them taking up space.
I don't like to get on the treadmill in my socks. I don't like to exercise in my socks. I'm afraid that I'll felt them.
Right.
So I don't tend to wear them until after I've done my workout. Yeah.
What really has helped me also make the transition is the fact that I now know how to darn socks, and I have a little darning kit, so that also makes me a little bit more willing to put them to the test. So,
Awesome.
Probably gonna do a lot of Kay's patterns in particular because I like the way she writes her sock patterns.
I like Kay's patterns. Her patterns are the ones that make me want to do socks, even though I'll probably never do them. Kay is extremely talented.
Yes, she is.
Very, very talented.
She purposely mixes, does different heels each time too, so you don't get bored. She said it'd be too easy just to, use. She could just plug in a different pattern and just use the basic heel, toe, whatever. But she doesn't want to do that. She finds that's kind of, she wants more effort into it.
She's a true creator.
She is.
I really enjoy her patterns immensely. And
it is your turn.
Yes, I know. Okay, what I'm working on is it's what I'm working on right now. Is in my Pullover Bird pink and purple teacups bag, and this is my comfy cozy scrap shawl. It's my comfy cozy shawl from the scrap shawl pattern by Anastasia Zattel, and this has gotten a little bit of work. It's growing. I don't want to lose my hook. Let me just pull this out a little bit. Okay, so let me see if I can pull this up a little. It is growing still. I'm still on the variegated at the moment, but I enjoy this. This is a little lighter than my other one, so it might get a little more wear. It's also a really pretty color. I like my other one too, the colors, but the yarn is...
Well, it's acrylic for one thing.
It's acrylic, so it's not as comfortable.
Yeah. Wool, you can really feel the difference
Yeah.
between a wool and acrylic.
So I don't know. Can you see the bottom?
They could see most of the bottom.
Okay. So yeah, this is moving along very nicely. I am enjoying it very, very much. If I could figure out what to do with them, I'd probably always have one of these on the hooks. It's like my Cerebel. It's just
you could probably stand to have a couple in different colors.
Yes. I need to go through my drawers and see what projects I'm not really using, because I have a lot of stuff, and see if maybe I can either give them away or maybe...
I bet you'll find that you don't have as many things in there as you think.
Possibly not.
Because you don't tend to keep a lot of your stuff.
I don't know. I do.
Or you make a lot of charity stuff.
I also have shawls and things like that. I
don't know that you have that many shawls, though.
I haven't been wearing them as much. I pulled out my Infancia de Recuerdos the other day and wore that. Mm-hmm. I like that. It's that...
And maybe I'm also underestimating how much you have simply because you don't wear them as often as I do. Mm-hmm. I always have a shawl on.
Well, my shawls, at least the beginning ones, were more like, okay, I'm going to wear this to church.
Right.
This one I can wear everywhere.
Yeah.
So you might see more of that later, because you can see the way I'm wearing sweater right now.
I know. I'm really not quite sure why you're not more of a shawl wearer.
I am a shawl wearer. It's taken my husband a little while to not equate shawls with like
old ladies,
grannies with glasses and gray bends. I am an old lady, so I can wear my shawls. So, okay, your turn.
Alrighty, so let me finish these last 4 stitches. I was born old.
Yes, me too. Yes, that is a reference, everybody. Yes. Can you get that reference?
It was slightly, the reference is slightly changed.
Yes, it is slightly changed, but it's still there. It is a reference.
Okay. So next, don't go away.
Anybody have an idea of what a colorway would be called It's a Reference? I was trying to think about that, and nothing came up to mind. So.
Oh, knitwear that's being worn today. Someone asked about. Did you answer the question about?
I did.
I
told her. Somebody asked me. I think it was Christina. I think who asked me what I was wearing, and I believe I was wearing the shawl that Laura Smoot gave to Talia.
Yes.
And the yarn is Miss Babs. I don't know what the pattern is.
Yeah, because she also did an adjustment on the edging as well. I remember that much. But it was a kind of care package that she sent to me. So I really don't even though I asked her at one point.
And you wrote it down.
Yeah.
We looked for the pattern. I couldn't find it.
I think it was in a book.
I really like that shawl. It's a nice shawl.
It is a nice shawl. And she also lengthened it for me.
Yeah.
She lengthened it and she added a larger border. Or she changed the border or something. She did adjustments to it.
She's another one who's very talented.
But this one is the On the Forest Floor before I started doing a lot of adjustments to the pattern. This one doesn't have the twigs though. And I am wearing also my, I think these are called my Harry Potter Christmas socks. I really love, I have more of this yarn and I will knit another pair of socks out of it. Because I really love this yarn. I like the jewel tones of it.
Yeah, I like jewel tones.
I tend to gravitate towards these socks. But yeah, so that's what I'm wearing knit-wise. Let's see, pattern to show you. In my Knitter's Magic brown and pink bag is the Canary Song, Comfort Yourself with Your Music, from Little Women Knits by Joanna Johnson. I actually did not work a ton on this week, but I mean, considering that the week before I really went to town on it, that's not terribly surprising.
I need some change.
But I mean, I know that I'm not that far. I have to make up my mind how long I want to make the sleeves. Because I think she has them a little shorter for a reason because of where it's going to land. And I don't want to end up with these awkward sleeves I keep having to push up.
Right. And you might not be able to push them up if they're not...
Exactly. So I'm going to probably make it to what she... I have like yarn on my lip. Okay. You know when you get like a little bit and it ends up in your tongue and you're...
Yeah.
Okay. And just like that little bit, like some fuzz came off somewhere. It's probably the Yorkshire socks fault, the owl socks. Because I doubt it came from Miss Babs.
Miss Babs is too well bred.
Well, the Miss Babs is more treated. It's not quite as raw. It's got the superwash.
I'm being facetious.
This one doesn't have the superwash, so I think it's a little bit more likely to give me stuff.
It's more rambunctious.
Yes. So, yes, I could probably finish this if I really focused on it. I'm probably going to stick with the sleeve size that it recommends, but I'll put it on like waste yarn and try it. And then if I like it where it's at, I'll bind off.
Right.
If I don't, I'll add more ribbing to the sleeves.
That works.
So, but I have a feeling I won't go much with than what she suggests, because this is not supposed to be a I'm super cold sweater. This is a dressy, I'm a little bit cold, or you know,
chilly. Church is cold and
right. Yeah. Or I just want a shawl sweater, because she calls it a shawl sweater,
which is why I wanted to make it. Because shawl sweater.
Well, in the pattern it doesn't say shawl sweater. When she was talking about it to me on Instagram,
no, I know, but the side to side construction, everything, the way it's set up, you could almost just leave out the holes and make it a stole, which is really nice. So.
Okay, so
was that your first or your second?
That was my first.
Okay.
The next one. Okay, this next one, it doesn't seem to be matter how much I work on this. It's staying exactly the same number of inches for the ribbing. So, in my Silvershed USA Kitties in the News bag, we are going for an old story.
Are there any other kinds at this point?
Yeah, I know, really. So, we did that one recently. We'll do this one. I know we've done this one before, but we've done all of them before. Alley Cat's Denied Appeal by Sassy Selkirk Rex. Mangy Manx is back in the doghouse today as the courts denied his request for a new tail. Apparently he was interested in some plastic surgery. It's no tall tale, he pleaded. It's absolutely not a crime, he begged. They just want me on a hot tin roof, he whined. It's categorically un-American. Onlookers were impressed with his theatrics, but apparently Judge Havana Brown was unimpressed. Let him eat dog food, Judge Brown declared.
That's harsh.
So, Not quite sure why he got put in jail for wanting a tail unless he stole it from somebody.
I don't know.
Or unless it's like an illegal procedure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, why is this an illegal procedure? Like, are there like black market tail surgeons or something? Like, do you have to go in some
maybe
alleyway? And,
maybe there's an outbreak of people like snipping off people's cats' tails and then
or like looting like the resurrection men and going to the cat cemetery. And
I don't know. That's just weird.
I mean, I'm now picturing like this dingy room with like one light bulb swinging and them doing his Manx surgery, tail surgery, because it's a crime otherwise.
And if you say anything, I'll have to kill you.
And like there's guards, like these
Bruiser
big old cats at the door, like in case anyone comes along and they whistle a warning, and then everyone disappears.
Cats don't whistle; they hiss.
Okay, so they hiss a warning, and everyone disappears, and no one knows.
The table
what happened.
becomes a dining table, and the
right. And if he's halfway through surgery, it's like they must have a place to shove the
body,
the cat. Well, I mean, unless he killed him already.
Well, he's still a body.
Oh, okay. When you say most people don't call
no, I
a
understand
living person
that, but it's not a person; it's a cat. You have to hide the person or the cat or whatever it is.
Yes.
That's a body.
So yes, it's apparently an illegal procedure.
Yes,
with a whole black market going.
We could really get our imaginative selves going and have a story out of that one.
I mean, I wonder what the going rate is. I mean, like...
I guess it depends on the tail.
Depends on the tail, yeah, I guess.
The rarity of the tail.
I mean, I guess if you get a lion's tail, it's really going to cost you. But
Well, that would look really weird, though. No hiding of that.
No. Oh, maybe there's a designer tail. Like, maybe if you have a certain kind of tail, it's a societal thing, and it's a marker of higher class. So if you have a tail that you're not supposed to have, maybe it means that you're...
A criminal?
You're maybe it means that you're pretending to be something you're not. I don't know.
I don't know. That's weird.
Okay, so now that we're done hypothesizing about the black market tail industry.
I don't know how to spell that.
Hypothesis?
No, hypothesizing.
Hypothesizing, I think it is.
Okay, it doesn't matter. That's the idea around. Just so we know what it is.
So, this is my Lake of Shining Waters project. The pattern is the Anne sweater. It comes from Green Gables Knits by Joanna Johnson. And this is the one, okay, for my size, I only have to go, I think it's like 4.5 inches for the ribbing. I want to go 5 just to have a little bit of an overlap, and it doesn't really matter. It just makes my pocket a little bit deeper. Or, not deep, yeah, it makes it a little bit wider. But the thing is, I've been stuck at 3 inches for like the past 20 rows, it feels like. I know what's going to happen is I'm going to stop measuring for a little bit, and then I'll be like 2 inches past where I need to go. But after I finish the ribbing, if I ever finish the ribbing, I will then do the sleeves, and then I should be just about done.
Excellent.
I mean, it's killing me because it already looks like a sweater.
It does.
And I can't do anything about it.
It actually could be a vest at the moment.
Well, yeah, it'd be one of those long vests.
Yeah. Those are really cool.
But it's just like, I feel like I'm so close to being able to like wear this, and the ribbing is denying me.
Actually, it has cap sleeves almost, you know?
It does. It does. I guess that's what's called a drop sleeve.
Yeah. I mean, if you were to stop there.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to.
No.
I mean, you could. And it would work, but I wouldn't want to.
No. It's too pretty. You need to finish it.
But yeah, I'll probably, honestly, as soon as I finish... Well, I am finished with the row on the socks, so I'm...
Is that the one that you're going to do for me later?
Yes, it is. Okay. Once I finish this one, I'll do yours.
And that I'll wear all the time. I like that.
And I'm probably going to start knitting on this as soon as I'm finished with my row for the owl socks. Because then, if I work on this, it might actually, get through the ribbing. And there's good lighting in here. That was my second one.
It's my hypothesis. My hypothesis.
It's not my, it's my philosophy.
No, I know it is.
Yeah.
But I was, it's a play on words.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, I didn't do
that. Was a reference, y'all.
Yeah, it was a reference, y'all. Y'all. Okay, it was my turn. Where is my thingy bobber? Oh, there it is.
Probably with the thingamajig. Or the whatchamacallit.
The whatchamacallit and the thingy bobber. Okay, let me just put this away. All of it. All of them. Okay, let me see here. Just excuse my head here. I'll catch my yarn on my bag. Oh, I haven't
What?
shown this yet. In my Mama C Large Owls bag, thank you, Christina, I have a matching set of this, a large and a medium, which is really cool. Is my bag end wrap from the Burrow Wrap pattern by K.F. Jones. And I did a couple rows, or a row and a half or something. I think I did a couple rows while Ty was talking. So this is growing nicely. I know I'm still in the same color, but that's okay. I'm in no hurry. It'll get done. I like that color. I wish I knew what this yarn was. I just call it my Nightwing color.
It's really pretty.
So, yeah. And I've got a variety of yarns in here. Miss Babs, and I think maybe some Dragonfly. I don't know. There's some stuff that I don't know because I lost the ball band.
Okay, so next, I'm just trying to see how many times I get to go to. Go to there. Okay, I have 2 more times where I go twice. So, okay. In my, let's see which one's next. Okay, in my Silvershed.
Excuse me, you said you have to go twice?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be right back.
In my Silvershed USA Bat Signal bag is the Puget Sound. This is the Fundamental Men's Pullover pattern. Knitting it for Dad. The pattern is by Jen Hagen using Cascade 220 in the colorway Puget Sound. Of course, Cascade 220 doesn't label its colors by name on the band. I think it's usually by number, so its color number is 9487. And I've had this yarn for a very long time. I've just never got around to making something out of it. Although I did intend it for Sweater's Mount. So this is the back of the sweater. It's been done for a while. And slowly but surely, the front is growing. Definitely nowhere near where I need to be, although I should probably measure again at some point so I know how far I am from where I need to be. Because once I finish the front, I kind of feel like the sleeves will go really quickly. And the seaming it together. Because this really doesn't have a lot going on. So it really is the perfect, like, I can't think project. Or I'm doing something else project. Grab a cup of sip of tea. So next for me is in my Silvershed USA Oops, It's a Bunny bag. Hopefully she's not abandoning me for the duration of the podcast. I think I have been gypped. Sounds like she's returning. Okay, good. So in here are my Royal House socks. These are the Dance All Night socks. Knitting them for me out of Matt Tosh. First sock's been done for a while. And it does fit. Second sock. Made some, there's some good progress. I am a little over halfway on the leg. And then I feel like it can go really quickly once I get to the foot. Because then I don't have to think about whether I'm purling or knitting.
Right.
But I love these socks. I've wanted
pretty.
another pair of these for a while.
Those turn out really nicely.
Because I didn't know how to darn when I ruined my original pair. Now these probably still wouldn't leave the house. Just because they're a little bit thicker and those tend to rub more on shoes. Mm-hmm. Most likely, if I was leaving the house unless it was really cold, I would most likely be wearing fingering weight socks. Because they slide into shoes a little bit better.
Not that you leave the house all that often.
No, I mean for like doctor's appointments.
Yeah. And maybe church.
Yeah, right. I mean, occasionally I'll wear something like boots so I can hide socks and boots. Last podcast that Kay had up, I haven't finished it because I ended up falling asleep because I was exhausted. Bryony doesn't wear anything but hand knit socks, and except for school when she usually has to wear the
Uniform?
The uniform, so she has some made. She has to usually do the store-bought ones because it needs to be a certain color. This year, Kay knit at least has knit one pair of gray socks that matches her uniform.
Oh, nice.
And she's made, I guess when she was a kid, the socks that she would have like a lace pattern on it. So she has a lace pattern along the top. But she didn't want it all throughout because she said she remembers as a kid when she took it off, it would leave like the lace pattern on her foot because it was a negative ease.
Right.
But I think Dan's right that eventually Bryony's going to learn how to knit them.
Oh, I think so.
Just because she so much prefers the hand knit socks. I think just to make sure she has a steady supply.
Right. And then she can make the colors she wants and all that kind of stuff.
I think Kay's going to always be knitting them for her, but
but still,
I think it's great that she has that much love for it. And I agree with. I've gotten to the point where I really don't like the tightness of normal socks because I have such problems with neuropathy and heat, and
I don't like the marks they leave on your like your ankle or whatever.
I don't like that. And I've had this problem with nylons, which is why I've always hated nylons. I would like try to do anything I could to go around wearing nylons because I wouldn't be wearing them very long before the tops of my toes would hurt.
Right.
To the point where it was distracting for me. So I think I've always had some sensitivity there.
Right.
But hand knit socks, I just make them a smidge long. You know, I'm about a 9.5, so I make them for a 10. And that's usually sufficient. And I just make it. I can wear. It's a negative ease for me to wear an 8 circumference, but I am most comfortable in a 9 circumference. So, which is good because actually a lot of times I think that tends to be the medium. So it works. Anywho, I'm not. Oh, because I was talking about the Royal House socks. Yep, that was the last one I had to show.
Okay. The one I'm working on right now is in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles bag. It's by Silvershed USA. Ann Brody. She used to be Ann Brody. She's Ann.
Oh, I don't know because
I can't remember her last name. Anyway, she made this bag for us, and as always, does a great job. This is my Arwen's Hooded Cowl project from the Thorin's Hooded Cowl pattern by Ephenora, and I'm using Miss Babs in the blue slate colorway. I'm in the middle of a row, so I want to be sure I don't, lose it. But here you go. You can see it is growing. I really like the way this is turning out. And part of me thinks I might give this to Little Miss Thing. And part of me is like, let me just wait and see what I want to do with it.
Right.
So.
Well, the hardest thing for you is deciding whether or not it'll bother you.
Yeah, I have some, I wouldn't say it's a sensitivity issue, but I guess it is of sorts.
It's more that you just don't like the way it feels on the back of
Even thinking about having something on my neck makes me feel kind of like I need to, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable. That's why a lot of times I'll wear beanies, or if I wear a hat, it might have stuff on the front, but it'll be close against the skull in the back. Like the golf hats with the bills, or the 20s kind of flapper hats and things like that. Because any kind of brim, if it doesn't sit just right, I feel like I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable.
Whereas I used to wear the huge cowboy hats and things like that.
And I like it. I like the way it looks. I just can't wear it for very long. So yeah, this is moving along, and I don't really have much to say about it. It's just moving along.
If I make beanies, I usually go to her because I don't care for the straight beanie. I usually like more slouch to my hat.
And I can wear a little slouch, but not enough that it feels like there's weight on it.
I tend to like tams also.
I like the tams.
I like to do slouch hats, and I like to do tams. And because I do a lot of, when I do hats, I tend to gravitate toward color work. That makes sense. That's usually what they tend to be in order for you to see the top.
I like tams as well, but I have to make sure that it's a tam that doesn't make me feel off balance on my neck or whatever.
Right.
But when I find a tam that I like, I'll wear that. I like it. So.
Okay, this is going to be my last set of 2 together, and then I'll have singles. Okay, so my next one, this one I haven't worked on in a while. This is in my Mama C Christina Tudor bag. And this is, I actually tested this pattern. These are the Beatrix Bunny Socks by Yarn Love Yarn. And I also have inside holding the actual sock so it doesn't get tangled in all the other colors. This is my Autism Awareness bag by Kikaboo Bags. At the time she's Kikaboo Bags. I think her name has changed.
Has it?
I thought you said that you thought it had.
Well, maybe it has. I don't know.
So, the first sock has been done a while. Let me pull that out. Hold on.
I think she sells the Etsy shop, but I'm not sure how. Oh, that looks pretty.
So, and I know this fits because I've tried it on. And I had it on the blocker forever.
That's bright.
So, she did it originally in a tan.
Mm-hmm. I like the brightness.
But I was making it around Easter time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt happy, these colors. So, that's what I went with. And also my carrots have some sparkle to them.
Mm-hmm. Yay.
The green is sparkly. It doesn't look like the orange is like I thought it was. I guess the green's the only sparkly in there.
Those minis?
Yeah, they're one of Kay's minis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was taking a peek to see which. I think those are the only ones that are one of Kay's minis. This brown was another fingering weight yarn that I didn't know what to do with, and I really like because it's like brown with some gray flecks. It's really pretty. It's not just a flat brown.
Right.
So, I am actually I just finished the carrots, so that means I'm headed into this strip here right before the flowers. Which means I'm very close to the heel.
Cool.
I should be giving this more attention than I have been, because honestly, I'm not far from finishing this sock. And then I'd have another pair of socks.
Right.
Now, granted, I do believe that this is more of my feet is cold pair of socks, because you do have the color work.
Right.
Now, it's not so much of the foot itself, which means it's mostly my legs are cold. If my feet are not feeling too cold, I still could wear this because it's a fingering weight foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a heavier weight, and I'm using bigger than she suggested because my gauge is different than hers while using color work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using a US 3, so it's not a super heavy weight. I think it's US 3 for the color work sections, and for the main sock I'm using, I think it went down a size, US 2. And I'm using Knitter's Pride Zing. So the 2 is an orange. No, it's a red.
That's
it's
right.
a red.
Mm-hmm.
A red for the 2s and this really nice green for the 3s.
Christmas colors.
Yep.
Christmas
So
colors and Easter sock.
yeah, I look forward to having this one. This is going to be different than any of the other socks that I have knit. And like I said, once I have, and I am pretty much consistently wearing my knit socks. I have a bunch hanging on the line that I need to take off.
Has Davina taken hers down yet?
I didn't notice. I just ran down and snatched my Christmas socks off of there so that I could wear them today, and I didn't really check on hers.
Right.
Because hers is kind of at the far end of the others. But yeah, that's all about that.
Okay, cool. Let me just see where I'm at here.
There we go.
Yeah, it'll take me too long to finish this. Let me put this away.
I'm gonna go ahead and put this in.
I keep splitting this yarn. I'm not sure why.
Why?
Why, Will Wheaton? Okay, let me just... There we go.
So I'm hoping y'all will see a lot more in the way of socks. It is actually, I do find that once I get going, they are kind of addictive because your rows do go very quickly.
I'm finding I like this.
Well, that's good.
It's once I get past that section where it feels like it's fiddly because it's so light, and she had to start me in the round.
Yeah.
Because next time I might just do a couple of rows and go from there.
And then attach it. I've stalled a little bit on mine, but only because I knit like 3 of them in a row.
Right.
And that's a big project to do the exact same one all the time.
It is.
Even though I have a lot of socks going, they are all different patterns.
Right.
So it's not like I'm going like, ugh. Same thing with my sweaters. But with that hood, even though it's a slight variation, it's literally the same project.
Right.
So.
Okay, let me see what I have next here. Oh, okay.
I think I was supposed to do 2 there.
Oh, you didn't do the second one yet?
No, I think that was my first one.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought it was the second one. All right.
This one will be my last second one. How many do you have left?
3.
Okay, I have 1, 2. Oh, never mind. I have only 3 left as well.
Okay. I think I only have 3. I don't see any. Yeah, 3.
Okay, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. In my Silvershed USA green Star Wars bag is my Mad Hatter cowl from the Cerebell pattern by Sarah Sweethearts, and I'm using Miss Babs in the Mad Hatter colorway. And this is a bright, happy kind of project. I've done a little bit on this. This grows fairly quickly because it just does. The stitch is a large stitch and the yarn is a DK. So, and I'm using a bigger hook. I'm using a 6mm. I think that's like a J.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this is a fun pattern. This one, once I get it started, I can almost do this in my sleep. So I could just, if I don't feel like really doing much of anything, or I can't focus.
That's a good one.
This is a good one. This one, the scrap shawl, I can just kind of, pull it out and go. So I don't have a lot to say about it. I used to do this in the car on trips. If I was doing a long trip, I could get 4 of these done probably. It's just, on the 2 on the way up or 1.5 on the way up and 1.5 on the way back or whatever. So,
it's nice to have those kind of projects.
Depending on what I was making with it. If I was making a short cowl with just the one, like a, what was that, Heritage?
Yes, that's
Heartland or whatever it's called.
Heartland.
Yeah. If I had that and I was using that, it would be a shorter cowl and I could get 2 and 2 done.
Well, I remember you finishing, like you ended up having to pick up yarn because you finished. Mm-hmm. Can you pass me a tissue, please?
Just get me finished this
It's
stitch.
probably just that I have an itch because of the yarn I'm using. Because the alpaca is like the West Yorkshire spinners that kind of spread stuff out at me. Thank you. But I feel like it looks better to use a tissue even when scratching rather than my fingers.
And this pattern really lends itself, as people who've been with us for a while know that I use this in multiple projects. And I almost always have at least one of these on the hooks. I've had times where I've had 3 or 4 of these on the hooks.
Yeah.
It's just, which probably isn't good for my hands, but...
Well, it's that and then the Anastasia shawl.
Yeah.
It's like...
Well, this one has, more than one part to the stitch. So when I'm doing one stitch, if I had, say, 12 stitches, it would actually be like 36 stitches or something. So, it does take a little something out of my hands to do that.
So 12 clusters is like 36 stitches.
Yeah, something like that. I am being...
My alpaca's attacking me.
Yeah.
In the face.
Even though this is a free pattern. So, yeah, so that's it.
Alrighty, so for me, dealing with an alpaca attack. Not that I don't have any allergies for it. It's just that I can always feel when it starts.
Well, it just makes it itch.
Yeah,
it's like sometimes when you pepper or something.
It happens inevitably when I'm recording or something.
I had to laugh when I read the person who said, I think it was Crystal, but I'm not sure, who said that her husband goes to sleep. I think it was with onions. It puts him to sleep. I was like,
oh yeah, I think that was Crystal.
I've never heard of that. That made me giggle.
So in my Silvershed USA Nursing Caps on Pale Field bag, this is one of my early bags. This is the Cuddly Owl sweater. Oh yeah, this is my other alpaca sweater. It's going. Let's double the nose itching fun.
It's starting to bother me too now. So, share the itching.
Neither of us have any issues with alpaca normally if we're just sitting there. It just seems to be when we podcast, that's when it's like, oh, alpaca attack. And it's not where we're
Attack of the bunnies.
Yeah.
No, it's alpaca.
Alpaca's a different animal, Mom.
Yes, I know. I just dream about bunnies.
Well, they are cute, and you do have a base with some bunny fur in it.
Which one?
One of the ones that Davina got you.
Okay.
Because I made sure that when she picked it up, that was one that I hadn't seen you use before. I was interested in seeing how that would work up. It was probably like some Angora bunny or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
It had some bunny in it.
I'll have to take a look at it and see, because I've only used, right now,
I think it's a fingering weight one.
yeah, that's probably why I've been at loath to do it.
I think it had some, what's it called, though? The strengthening.
Nylon?
Some nylon.
Or polyamide?
Yeah, something there to strengthen, I think. But
I like the way it's
this
working out.
is Mom's Cuddly Owl Sweater. It's the Jenny's Cardigan by Mary Chiba. And I have to go for 4 inches. I think I'm at 2.5 or 3 right now.
That's going to be so pretty.
Actually, hang on. Let me measure it this one. Okay, I'm at 2.5 because this other one is at 3, and that's about half an inch.
Give or take.
Yeah, so I'm about 2.5.
Progress is being made.
This one doesn't get as much attention right now because I'm so focused on finishing this ribbing for the other one.
There's no rush on it.
But I really do love the way this is working up.
I love that. I've never seen up close how my Pennies from Heaven works up. So that's
And this is a better example of, because the one I have is a little darker.
darker. Mm-hmm.
This is more like what most people are getting. And this is the first time that you've done this on an alpaca base.
Yeah, because it takes it a little bit. Oddly enough, this has a little less of the orange, the like burnt orange from the Pennies of Heaven. It's a lot more of a coppery without the orange. It's very pretty.
It is really pretty. And it's going to be really nice to the owl. It's going to be really soft. And I think you're just going to really enjoy
I love that.
having
It's going to
that.
be warm.
But in that way that the natural fiber is warm, but it also doesn't seem to make you sweat as much as like as an acrylic seems to.
Yeah, I don't like wearing acrylic as much. I know that
I find I don't wear this one as often as I hope that.
Yeah.
I mean, I do wear it,
Yeah.
but because this is made out of an acrylic, I'm not as inclined to pick this sweater over some of my other sweaters.
right, and that's what I have with my blue one that I made. I do wear it, but if I can get away with wearing my green one, my Dragonfly Fiber one, I'll wear that one.
Now I have one that's got some acrylic in it, but it also has some wool, my white one, and I will pick that one.
Yeah, I like that one, but that's a blend.
Yeah, I need to wash it actually because I think I got some chocolate on the
Gee.
on it at one point, and I just haven't wanted to wash it.
Well, washing it might be a good idea.
I mean, it scraped it off and everything. It just has that little chocolate stain,
Yeah.
and it's right along the zipper line.
Oh, that's...
But I've just been too lazy because I want to wear it or whatever. And that's one that, because it's heavy, it's going to need to dry a little while.
Yeah.
Even though it does have acrylic, I should be able to just stick it in the wash. I probably won't.
Well, you got enough wool in it that's concerned, you know?
Yeah.
Let me just fasten this off, so to speak. Okay. Okay.
So I probably need to actually think about at some point knitting a wool sweater that is red, since I have one that I will wear a little bit more consistently. And although I do have that one that has red and orange in it that I'm knitting.
Let me know if you want, like Casca Amontillado or Water Maroon or something.
Right. When I get closer to finishing some of the other ones I have set aside, I'll think about that.
Okay, Silvershed USA Blue PHN Faces bag. That's this bag right here. I have a lot of Silvershed today. This is the by special request shawl project from the Anastasia Zattel scrap shawl pattern, and this is for Talia.
Nice.
Whoops, there's my hook.
Is it bunny?
Yeah, I've switched colors again. Let's see if you can see it. I was hoping to get a little further to show you. I guess you can see it all the way across here. I'll show you this section of it. So you can see, can you see the bottom there?
Yeah, they can.
So that's Dragonfly Fiber. No,
No, this is Marigold Gen.
Marigold Gen, yeah. Which you can't get anymore, so.
Oh, I see that now, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I'm gonna go as far as this yarn allows, because it's a normal size skein.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go as far as this allows, and I'll probably start with the blue, and then have the gray in the center, and then try and pull in the Mad Tosh again. I don't know if I'll get all the skeins in here on this shawl, but we'll
It's
see.
scrap, and then you look at it and decide how much of it you really want
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. So this is, I like this shawl. It's, I wish I still had a way to contact Anastasia because I'd like to let her know. For a while there, we were in contact. I'll have to see if I can find. Maybe I'm following her on Facebook or something. I'll have to see. But yeah, so that's
I think for a while you were
what.
following her on Facebook.
If I was following her on Facebook, I still am.
Well, unless she's not on.
Unless
it
she's
anymore.
not on it anymore. Yeah. So that takes care of that. I think this is also a J hook.
Well, I think you matched hooks.
I can't see this. I think it says 6.0.
5.5.
5.5. Okay, so it's slightly smaller than
Well, that makes sense because you like it a little bit loftier than I do.
Mm-hmm.
I usually use it kind of like a blanket. Okay, so then next, since it's my turn, is in my Silvershed USA. Oops, it's funny.
I finished
Book's
my
bad.
tea, that's why I didn't have any.
And here is Lady Susan. That's a project name. The pattern is the Cozy Reading Socks pattern by K.F. Jones. I find that it's a lot easier to say the pattern is if I add pattern at the end, even if it has socks. Otherwise, I feel weird, like I'm not doing verb and object agreement.
Grammar Nazi.
It just feels really awkward. So this is a Knitty U pattern, so it's only available to certain levels of patrons for the Bakery Bears. And this is the first sock that got finished. I do it to weave in the ends.
Very nice. Is that a shorter cuff?
It is a shorter cuff. I went with the way that she does a cuff. And also, I think it's a good thing for me to have a variation of different cuff lengths. So this will be one with a bit of a shorter cuff.
Nice.
And then I went with this red heel.
I'm not sure why it reminds me of her chimney socks.
I mean, it has... Her chimney socks were more of a waffle.
Right, but I think it's the general shape.
It's probably the general shape. And also, I think it's the way the yarn's working up. Because I had an orange that was about as tonal as this is.
Okay.
So I think it's also a similar feel with the yarn.
It could be.
Although I think I didn't change heels on that one.
I don't think you did.
That one was also meant to be a fingering weight pattern, and I had adjusted it. This one is actually meant to be a DK pattern. So as you can see, I've started the second sock.
Very nice.
And made some good progress. This is a pattern that does move quickly.
What needle is it again? What size?
This is a US 4.
Oh, that's not bad for a sock.
Well, no, because it's a DK weight.
Yeah. Because I looked at one of the pairs of socks. Oh, no, it was a pair of mitts that Kay was going to do that I was looking at. And she wanted like a size 1 and 2. I'm like,
I thought it was a
no.
cowl, Mom.
Was it? No, was it the cowl?
Because I thought you were talking about the mitts, and then you said the cast-on number. And I'm like, that's an awful lot of
I'm not sure if that was the
stitches.
same.
And then you said, oh, it's a cowl.
I'm not sure if it was the same thing. If it's a cowl, I'll just change it.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that was the cowl. At least that's what you talked to me about. Now, it could well be that the mitts required that as well, because she was trying to do different weights of yarns for each of the patterns in the series.
Well, if I do the cowl, I'm just changing it.
So I think that the mitts were probably fingering weight. This was DK. England doesn't have worsted.
They
So
have
the next that they did is the chunky.
They have Aaron.
Yeah, but she didn't go for that. She went for chunky.
But if it's the cowl that's I'm talking about, I don't think it is, but if it is, I will most likely just go up or to a DK, or if it's her cowl, I might take my longer sport and do that one. And I have that 700 some odd yard sport yarn. I won't have to just do. Of course, I'm gonna have to change colors. No, that doesn't change colors, does it?
Yes, it does.
The cowl.
Yes.
Okay.
It looks like it's kind of like it gives me a similar feel to the burrow wrap.
Okay.
In some ways.
But I was looking at it because of the fact that she's got it making it look like an owl. I might just do it one color.
Now it's only a small little area. And once it's on you, you might not see it.
Right.
Because it kind of accordions.
Right. I might just have some kind of tonal yarn and just let the
Because I personally think it might get kind of old because it looks like it's a lot of stockinette.
I don't care.
And if you have just a if you have a color that's not very interesting, I think you run the risk, if you don't change colors or have a lot of pooling, I think you run the risk of getting bored.
Yeah, I don't mind stockinette, because that means I can just go, round and round and round.
I had to be in the right mood. Although I've gotten a lot more tolerant for stockinette than I used to be.
Let me just see if I can finish this row before I...
Okay, because it is your turn.
Yeah, let me just finish this row and turn it around so
Okay.
that I can just have this row finished.
Around.
Let's see here. I really like this yarn. Marigold Jen is really a talented yarn dyer, and I
Yeah, and
think,
unfortunately she's not dying anymore.
we've got a loss there. Her daughter also is very talented.
Yes,
She's not doing it either. So
I have some of her yarn on the needles too, I believe.
I never ended up buying any of hers because I think she had all fingering.
No, I got a heavier weight from her.
Did you?
I'm trying to remember what it's in because I know I have it. I can't remember what project it's in.
Because no, I would have bought something for her if I could have. So I don't know if I didn't.
I think that maybe the colors didn't call to you or something.
Because I like to, when they were open, I like to make sure I bought something. I always bought something from Jen, but I didn't.
Well, maybe this is the one. No, that's Scenic Routes. That's Marigold Jen for sure.
that's Marigold Jen.
Yeah, I can't remember where I have the other one at.
All right, let me just finish this stitch and I'll be done.
'Cause I could have. I know I'm using it somewhere.
Oh, wait a minute.
Speaking of Marigold Jen, I need to work on my hitchhiker at some point.
I almost did a Surabel here.
Oh.
Let me just... This is not the Surabel. This is something else. Believe it or not, I do other things. Let's see here.
Maybe I just have the other yarn instead of Cypher socks. I could have sworn I had it in something.
What other yarn?
The one by her daughter.
Oh, right. Okay.
I could have sworn I had it in something, but I guess I don't.
All right, let me put this away. Whoops. It's a bunny, and I don't have any tea. Let me have some water. Okay. Some water. I don't have much of that either.
Didn't plan ahead very well, did you?
Planning's overrated. Anyway, this is in my Emma Al bag. Thank you, Emma. I love my bag. Emma Al bag. And I know she didn't make it, but it's from her. Let me see. I think I got
Cute.
the spot there. Okay. This is my mint baby mint surprise baby blanket. I think that lady is pregnant, I think.
Okay.
So that'll be good. We have a million people pregnant in our church
anyway.
Huh? But anyway, here it is. I did a little on this. This is kind of if I'm just sitting there, sometimes I don't want to do the Surabel scarf or cowl. I'll pull this one out. So this is...
Yes, sometimes the color difference can make all the difference.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I like this. It's very understated. And I'm using... The hook for this one is a 5.0. So I just... Whatever hook I happen to see in the range of like a 5 to maybe a 6.5, I'll do for this kind of yarn. It just depends. This is going to be a little bit of a warmer blanket. I could have easily done this with a 6.
Well, you probably didn't want as big of holes with the little fingers.
Exactly. But
I mean, they will still find them.
Oh, they'll find them. They will find the holes and they'll get their little fingers stuck. And I just don't want it big enough that their whole wrist gets stuck and the poor mom has to cut it out, So, yeah, so that takes care of this. Now, the yarn is Yarn Inspirations Caron Baby Cakes worsted in Icy Aqua. And this is acrylic and nylon, and there's 560 yards. This is an Aran weight. Aran or worsted, I forget which. Worsted, I'm sorry. And it's got a little bit of a halo to it. But I'm about halfway through the blanket maybe, and I might be able to finish with this particular ball of yarn, and then I'll figure out if I'm going to use the other one to make another one, another blanket, or if I'm going to give it for a prize or do something else with it.
Right.
It's not bad to work with considering it's acrylic.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
So that's cool.
Alrighty. So my final one is The Knittables Nurse by Sarah Gasson, who does knittables. And this is the dress, the nurse dress for my bunny the Knittables bunny. Sorry, let me get that bit of alpaca that's attacking my face. Okay. It grows. It's just...
Oh, that's pretty.
And this is a heritage.
It looks like it's going to be big for her, but I guess not.
Well, no, it's a wide skirt.
Oh, okay.
I kept thinking the same thing, but I use the exact same yarn that I use. I use the same brand that I used to knit her.
Mm-hmm.
So my gauge hasn't changed, and it's what they use to knit.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll be fine on her. It's just that you don't realize how big of a bunny she is until you start trying to make her clothes.
Right.
Um,
Well, she's a good-sized bunny. I think what happened was, I know how big she is, but I think I was picturing
the other one.
the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a decent-sized bunny, so her clothes take a little while. And she'll have the little apron. This is a little red for the nurse's stuff.
Really cute.
Some white. So yeah, and this is in my plover bird kissing bunny's back.
Okay, so that brings us to what?
That brings us to this is what we call the rough drafts, because I didn't really knit on it.
Oh, right, okay.
I just wove in ends,
Okay.
so it doesn't really count as a project.
I thought you were going to use the blanket, didn't you?
No, I just as a kind of like, I did this, but I didn't really work on it because it's been finished for a while. I'm hoping maybe if I be like, I wove in ends, and I show it, people be like, did you weave in the rest of the ends?
Yeah.
So I actually don't have that many squares left to weave ends in. This one here. I've woven in a lot of them.
There were just a lot to weave in.
Yeah, because I stopped weaving them as I went along. I mean, I still have a decent amount, but more than half of them are woven in.
Yeah, I'm going to have to put, when I finish the weaving in the projects that I have, the one project I have to do that, I'm going to have to show that. Where are we putting this?
This is rough drafts
Yeah.
because it's finished technically, but it still has the ends that need woven in. So, just the finishing touches. And then when the ends are all woven in, I can actually have it right side up on my bed instead of the way I have it now, which is I put the ends on the top so it doesn't tangle with my feet, which is really just the cheapy way of just avoiding to weave in my ends. I've used this blanket daily, all the time. I'm just been way too lazy to weave in my ends. I try to weave in one square a day.
Well, that's good. That's a good,
At least one square. Usually I do more than that.
unless you're not feeling well.
Well, this isn't a bad thing to work on when you're not feeling well either. But yeah, so I usually try to do that this week. This is not what happens all the time. Otherwise it would have been done by now.
Right. Right. Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's that. Any FOs?
Not for me.
I don't either.
All right, let me finish this stitch and then we go on to what's next. Do you have, I don't have any
Graphic novel.
graphic novel. My graphic novel may stretch to include journals.
Well, we'll say anything that's, paper crafts
Yeah,
as your
paper,
graphic novel.
yeah. But I don't have anything. I've been brainstorming in my head and talking to my husband and talking to Pat, who is Looney Hiker, and some Patreon people also about, what they do with journals. And I have some idea. I saw a video that kind of sparked some interest for me for doing the covers of them. So you may see some of that. I'm kind of wanting to do paper crafts again. Thank you, Brittany. Brittany can take the hit. Okay, go ahead.
And then I haven't really been doing much in the way of the rosary stuff. I haven't felt like doing my last bit of finishing for the chaplet stations thing I had to finish.
Excuse me.
So I've just been wanting to focus on my knitting. Plus, I wanted to finish the Christmas stocking design.
Which makes Davina very happy.
Yes, well, it needs to be done by Christmas. Plus, I'd like to get it out of testing by Christmas.
Right. Okay, stash enhancement?
Yes, and I really don't have anything to mention. I mean, I did pick up the Cascade 220 I needed to finish the other bunny, the one that's from Mary Jane's Tea Room, because it's touch and go of enough to finish both arms. And it's a color I like anyway. It's the Japanese maple. I used it to knit To crochet, excuse me. Davina's Tilly,
Right.
the Springer Spaniel. Because I made 2 of them. One was darker, I want to say. And then Davina's has a Japanese maple. I think hers has a Japanese maple. Maybe I did a different color. I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
I do have some stash enhancements as well. I had not a purple package, but I got stuff from Plum Deluxe.
I would feel cheated if I were you.
I think maybe their purple package probably ran out of. My my little samples, Tender Loving Care Herbal Tea, which is green rubios, orange peel, rose hips, sea buckthorn berry, mango pieces, apricot pieces, lemon peel, calendula, love, gratitude. Yeah, so that's that. I don't usually have that small a cup, but we'll see. Okay, I have here.
Well, maybe you'll get another sample at some point. Or
I might-
maybe you'll be able
well,
to mix it with something.
I have to get some more mint, mint like the chocolate cookie or whatever it is. And I need to, once October comes, I need to start stocking up on my, that one that I like, the maple chai.
We need to check once we get a little closer to Christmas to see if T-Spot has your
Oh, I love that.
candy cane one.
Oh, I absolutely love that tea. Okay, but for this I got red velvet pura dessert tea is what I have that. And I got white chocolate peppermint herbal tea. Are you seeing a a trend here? Refreshing after dinner mint tea. And rainy day pura tea, which is a new one for me. I haven't tried
that
this
one's a
one
good
yet.
one.
This one is all organic pura tea, cinnamon bark, orange peel, ginger root, anise, safflower, sweet cinnamon extract, love, gratitude, and caffeine. So it's right in my wheelhouse. So I have that. And like I said, I'm going to try to wait to order my mint tea, my chocolate mint tea, until I can get the maple chai, but I don't know if I have enough to do that.
I know at some point I want to get some more Oregon breakfast tea, because that was honestly even more than the Reading Nook tea, although the Reading Nook tea is good and I need to get some more at some point. But even more than the Reading Nook tea, the Oregon breakfast tea was the one that's made me go, yeah, I'm going to be a Plum Deluxe person.
Yeah, I love Plum Deluxe. Andy is phenomenal, and his people are phenomenal, and they're all very nice. And we just love them.
Yes.
So, I mean, we may get other teas, but we love them.
Yes, we do.
So, our
loyalty.
our loyalty is to them, and also they are our basis of our tea stash.
We are citizens of the Plum Deluxe.
Yes, we are. Our basic stash is mostly Plum Deluxe. We do get some from Tea Spot. We do get some occasionally from our local and from the other local. What's the other one? The one that has our mountain stuff and our
Oh, you're talking about Simpson and Vale.
Simpson and Vale.
And then, of course, T-Spot.
I already said Tea Spot.
Oh, did you? Okay.
So we have like 4 sources, but Plum Deluxe is probably our.
Well, we tend to, we really vet our sources. We try to make sure that, okay, this is what we want. And then if it is, we will generally not just pick up only one tea from it.
The one downtown here for me is basically 1 or 2 right here in town. I love their chocolate monkey tea. I picked up almost everything they had when they had it this last time.
And now I don't have as much that they really carry that it makes me go, ooh.
Well, that's what I said. I have
Yeah.
the one. And then the one in Percival, we have a couple, but we don't go there that often. So those
Yeah.
2 are not, that leaves the,
They have a good chocolate mint.
yes, I want to get that one. We do, that leaves the Simpson and Vale and the Tea Spot along with Plum Deluxe. And for Tea Spot, I love their Christmas one, their candy cane or whatever that is. I haven't Stephanie, I haven't yet tasted the blood orange. I have to taste that
Well,
one.
I want you to try the coconut one too. It wasn't my taste, but I think it's because I like a stronger cup of tea, and it wasn't as strong as I like. Whereas it might be up your alley.
Well, I love the I have to get more of their. I like it as much as I like Plum Deluxe's Santa Blend, which is saying something.
Sand blend's good.
Yeah, it's saying something that I like both of those equally. So yeah, but anyway, going into the other things. What are we at now?
I was just going to mention for T-Spot, we're also, once we run out of the mint that we do have, we're going to be going to T-Spot for our mint.
Right.
Just because our normal source, they are no longer carrying their mint and loose leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So we will be changing our source when our loose leaf peppermint is gone.
Okay, so what do we do? You have shop stuff?
Shop stuff. Honestly, the biggest shop news is I'm so close to being able to put out a test for the Davina's Christmas stocking. I do have to, besides finishing the knitting of it, I need to do a little tweaks to the pattern that I wrote in as I was knitting it, and then I can put it out for patrons to get their early bird chance
Right.
at testing. And then once they get their chance, I'll pick up the testers that are willing to do it from the PHN home.
Yeah, if you don't get enough from Patreon, you might want to tag some people like Linnea, who seems to love that.
Well, when I go to the PHN home, I have a list of people I tag, and then I have places I go after that if I don't get enough testers. But I kind of hope I can stay within PHN this time.
Yeah.
Because I've been having so much trouble with. I'm not sure I could juggle all the places.
Right. Now, I do have some new stuff for the shop. No, I haven't put in the other yarn yet because I'm having trouble with the name. I do have the picture. I have to take the pictures for the rescade, but I'm having trouble with the name on it. So as soon as I get a name, that one will go up. And then I have a new one. I showed this on the Patreon yesterday. This is Blue Jay Way. The inspiration was a blue jay. The name is actually after a George Harrison Beatles song. This is a fingering sock. And I'm thinking maybe of making this, if people would like it, I can make this with a heels and toes in black, or I think that would be the best one actually for the heels and toes.
Yeah, I do.
But
someone suggested gray.
Someone did suggest gray, and that would work as well. But this is what it looks like. Fingering sock yarn. So this will go up, and I have an idea for something that's a variation of this color, and I'm going to try and do that sometime this week and see how that works out. So yeah, there's two of these, so if you like it, this will be going up hopefully relatively soon, I say. So
with no great confidence.
Just keep an eye on the shop for that. I do have some ideas in my head. I need to get on the stick for getting the yarn dyed up. It's been very strange. My days have been oddly cut up.
Mm-hmm.
I think because, and I mentioned this on the Patreon, I'm not sure if I mentioned it here, I think because I've been so tired, I've been taking a nap at the end of the day, and so it kind of cuts that time in half. So, and I'm trying to get my housework done like a good little girl, so, in the afternoon. So, I will try to do better with this. I think once my class ends,
and once you get checked out for what's causing all this fatigue.
Yeah, so I know part of it's pain that wakes me up at night.
Mm-hmm.
But, so in any event, hopefully this will be changing and I'll be able to get, a little more creative with my yarns in terms of feeling like getting out there and playing with the dye stock. Because I love doing this. I love working with color and seeing what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Alrighty, so that should lead us on to... You already did stash enhancement, so that should lead us on to books and stuff.
I don't have a whole lot to say about books. I've been, most of my same books, let me just get my show notes to come back up. Most of the same books. I mean, I've done my religious books, including my Daily Prayer 2021, because I kind of had I use that, I insert that when my Bible study stuff is, like, I'm in between what I'm supposed to be doing for Bible study, so I use that, and I read my Mother Teresa book, and
Mondays are last week for Bible study.
Yeah, and then we have to take the test, and we're done with that. We can go back to our normal stuff. I haven't had a chance to read Mother Thecla too much. I hope to get back to that. We did the Divine Office for Dodos a couple times this week. I'm reading Abandonment to Divine Providence and The Listening Eye by Patricia Wentworth. So I've been doing that. Mostly, I've been doing a lot of listening to the prayers on Hallow. Hallow is something different.
Yeah,
Hallow. Which
they have chant music, but I don't think that it's really.
I've been doing a lot of the prayers on the treadmill, so it took a lot of time for my reading, and I've also been doing I've been trying to finish my fiction books. The fiction book I'm reading, I even let The Hobbit drop off a little bit. So I just haven't felt like reading a lot right now. More listening. I've been watching Pints with Aquinas. They had Peter Kreeft on, so that was kind of cool. And they were talking about Lord of the Rings and Tolkien and all that kind of stuff, which was really interesting. So yeah, I need to get back into the reading and not just the shared story reading. So
I did work a bit on the shared story,
Yay.
which was good. It's been hard for me because of fatigue.
I've been brainstorming a lot.
Yes. I did get to finish some books. If I get on an Agatha Christie kick, I tend to read one after another, after another, after another. She's like the perfect recipe for me for relaxing. Like, I'm having trouble thinking reading because she just hits that sweet spot for me.
See, if I do that with Agatha Christie in terms of I don't read, I listen to it right now, that's one of the things I'll put it on when I'm laying down here to take a nap. And Hugh Fraser, I'm out.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't. If I was to listen to her, it would be a very different thing. But I don't absorb the books as well if I listen to them. I think because, and we've talked about this before, like, even someone as good as Hugh Fraser, who's one of the better
he's a
readers,
fabulous
he's an
reader.
excellent reader.
Yeah.
But because I have trouble getting as immersed in the world when someone else is reading it to me on their pacing.
Right.
Whereas if I'm reading it myself, I can truly not think about the fact that I'm reading. I'm really in that world and in that story. And so I just feel like I get more invested when I'm physically reading
Well,
it.
you can put yourself in the scene better when you're reading it.
And it's not like I'm thinking of myself being there. It's
No,
just
but
that
it's more
it feels like
immediate.
there's less of a barrier between me and the characters, and it's like it's a difference between a foggy window and a clear one.
Right.
Whereas the audiobook for me is almost like a foggy window where I can kind of make things out and I can get the idea of what's going on, but I can't see the expressions, and I can't, maybe it's a little bit muted because it's a little soundproof, but the reading the book is like taking the window away altogether.
I can do it better with Hugh Fraser because he's doing Poirot, and because he's really pretty good about the voices and stuff, I can see the actors. So I can see the expression on Poirot's face. I can see the expression on Hastings' face. It gets a little confusing with Jap because sometimes Jap's voice comes out of other people's mouths when Hugh Fraser reads. But it's the closest I come to being able to really immerse myself in the story from an audiobook is with Hugh Fraser. Even though I love Benedict Cumberbatch, he's a very good reader, but I don't get myself into the thing as much as I do with Hugh Fraser reading.
Because I'm one of those people, even before I developed a really bad startle reflex, I always was the person who got this is probably why I read so quickly as well. I would get so absorbed into the book that if someone walked in and I got pulled out because I had to interact, I actually get disoriented.
I get that,
I had to think. It's like I had to get reoriented to the real world because I wasn't here.
I get startled. I actually will jump if somebody does
I'll
that.
jump and then I have a couple minutes where I can reacclimate. But I did finish reading some because I was reading a bunch of Agatha Christie's. I read for the first time and finished A Caribbean Mystery by Agatha Christie. I gave it about 4.75 stars. This is a Miss Marple. I did actually really enjoy it, even though I had already guessed by the end who the person was going to be who did the thing, but it's not always the point for me for her books. It's the build up to it. Like, everyone knows how the Orient Express finishes.
Right.
But the way the book is written is so excellent that I really enjoyed it last time.
Well, it's like a story that starts with, you already know what the end is, but it's how you get to that point.
Well, sometimes it's not about the mystery. It's about the suspense and the watching them. Will they get to the right conclusion in time?
Right.
And sometimes for a murder mystery, it's, okay, I think I know who it is. Let's see if I'm right.
Yeah.
And see how many people die before my detective figures it out. Because
Right.
it usually doesn't stop at one murder.
Right.
Because someone saw something and blackmailed, or, once they get a taste for murder, they kind of keep going with it.
I need to, I'm listening to Murder on the Links, and the one I've got is, for some reason, it's divided into 4 different videos or something, or 4
that's
different
annoying.
audios. So
That one is one that I always enjoyed, and I would highly recommend reading it.
That's what I was just say. I want to read it because it's important on a variety of levels, and I don't want to give it away if you're fans and you haven't read it yet, but it brings into play a character that I wondered how that person came into play. And so I want to get the full effect of not having it split.
That was for a very long time my favorite Poirot book.
And that has some neat twists in it. Yeah.
Oh, you haven't even hit all the twists unless you finished it.
I'm in book part 4, so I'm really close to the end.
There's some twists still to come. It's really, that book did a very good job, I felt, with all the twists and turns.
I think we're really close to the end of it. I'm really close to the end of the twist, but it's still there. There's still a few that have to be unveiled. But I hear Daddy walking around.
I finished rereading Elephants Can Remember by Agatha Christie. That's a Mrs. Oliver one.
I love her.
And that's a 5-star. And by the end, I remembered how things were, but it did take me a while. Now, I reread, even though I forgot that I read this, The Mirror Cracked from Side to Side. Now, what was interesting for this one, I still give it 5 stars, but I remembered almost from the get-go who the murderer was. Now, when I read it the first time, I don't think I picked up quite as quickly. So it's hard when you're rereading. But the thing that I like about reading a book is, I forget where if it's a reading podcast I was watching, or if I read it somewhere else, it's not always about the surprise. When you're rereading it, now it's about you're experiencing it from a different point of view. Now it's not so much a mystery book anymore. Now it's a suspense book. Or now it's, since you now know what's going to happen, it's more of a, about how it's written.
Right.
Or about how they get to that point. It doesn't always have to be about the surprise.
Right.
But this one, I actually got more invested this time, not in the murder mystery, even though I was invested in it. Miss Marple had recently had double pneumonia, and her nephew had paid for her to have a live-in nurse. And this lady, and it's probably time period because we compared notes with a movie set during the same time period, she would do this, "Oh, are we doing this?" Miss Marple would be like, "Well, I don't know about you, but yes, I'm doing that." Or, "Do we want this? Do we need a nap? Are we having our little joke?" This lady would assume Miss Marple was losing her faculties, but she wouldn't listen to anything she was saying, and she wouldn't pay attention. She had this idea that she knew best, that anyone who tried to tell her that Miss Marple was with it just was, they didn't know, she drove me nuts. And I was so glad when they finally were like, "Oh, at the end, she's going to be going somewhere else." Yes, Miss Marple got rid of her.
We need to move along.
So, yes, that really drove me nuts. And the last one I finished rereading was After the Funeral by Agatha Christie, 4.5 stars.
Is that a Poirot as well?
After the Funeral, yes, it's a Poirot. Okay. That's Poirot. We talked about Divine Office for Dodos. Still reading James Alberioni on Marvel for Our Times. Still reading Until Christ Be Formed by You by Blessed James Alberioni. Reading Catechism of the Catholic Church. And the one I started reading, I am borrowing it through Amazon Prime. They have this thing where you can borrow, I think it's like up to 8 titles a month. And this is a new to me book, but it was written during the 60s by a guy who initially wanted to just write a book explaining some of the things that American Jews were maybe not remembering about their history of their faith. And I guess his publisher joked, "Well, why don't you just make it more like your other books, which is a murder mystery? People might be more interested in reading it." And it ended up evolving into a murder mystery with the detective being a rabbi. So his name is Rabbi David Small, and the detective who works with him, I think he's actually police chief, is a Roman Catholic. And you have this interesting dealing with, you're going into the Jewish faith because I thought that's what this character is, but you also have this murder mystery going on at the same time. So it's called Friday the Rabbi Slept Late. And there's only like 12 books in the series before the guy died.
The author.
The author died, yes. And I will be reading some Ellery Queen novels. Agatha Christie apparently really recommended the series when she was still alive, so I really am looking forward to that. It's not the same as the magazine. The magazine is a spin-off of the books, just the way the TV show was a spin-off of the books. So I'm looking forward to reading those. But yeah, because Amazon does this thing where if you have the ability to do Amazon Prime borrowing, they'll suggest books based off of what you've already read. So
Okay, so I know I seem to always be pushing, but we got a late start, and my husband is ready to eat and do rosary and stuff. We have to go.
yeah,
So I apologize for making it a little bit abrupt.
yeah,
We want to thank all of the people who commented on YouTube or in the group. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, if I miss you, I apologize. I'll try to get to you later, or Talia will. We want to thank Stephanie, Looney Hiker, Kara, Brittany, LNS Crafts, Rena, Wendy, who we call MacGyver,
Yep.
Miss Pogo, Chronically Crocheting, Christina, Paula. Thank you very, very much
Thank you.
for commenting. And we will try to get started a little earlier so we're not so rushed in the end next week.
Yeah.
We want to wish you a very happy, blessed week full of knitting, crocheting, crafting, whatever it is that makes you happy. And we hope to see you here again for the Flint in the Woman Cave next week. This is the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, episode 469. And that's a wrap.
Bye.